which are the most effective fundraising methods right now?
So fundraising methods depend their effectiveness on the types of work that each NGO is doing. So certain NGOs have easier times of getting money from different sources depending upon the content of their mission. However, right now, one of the fastest growing areas for getting fundraising support is online. And so we suggest that all organizations, no matter how they do their work, have some form of online fundraising opportunities, because donors now are looking more frequently and feel trust in giving their money using online platforms.
Tell me about crowdfunding. How would an effective crowdfunding campaign look like?
So crowdfunding is used effectively in a couple of different ways. The first is when you're trying to test out a new project or product. And so it works both similarly in the business world and in nonprofits. As you're developing something new, you want to find out, are there people who support this concept? Are there people who would buy my product or who would sign up for my project? And what crowdfunding does is it gives you a really fast way of determining, are people interested? And if they're not interested, how can I get feedback on my idea to adjust it to make it something that people would want to invest in or to become part of? And so crowdfunding is really good at the early stages of developing new ideas, even if it's for an organization or a business that's been in existence for a long time. It gives you a way to test new ideas for new projects and new things that you want to try.
Okay, NGOs and startup companies, which are the differences and similarities between crowdfunding campaigns for these two types of organization?
So in some cases, the campaigns can look very similar, and that's when you have some kind of product that you're trying to market. So businesses typically will have a prototype of what they want to develop and use a crowdfunding site to say, here's the prototype, please. If you give donations, you will then get some of the first of this product that's produced. For NGOs, it can be somewhat similar. So if you've developed a new camp for girls that are producing apps for the iPhone, and enough people want to sign their children up to come to your camp, that is a similar way that you're saying, okay, this is how much it costs for this camp. If enough people sign up, then we'll hold the camp. So it's a very similar concept. The difference is that many NGOs look to crowdfunding as a way to engage donors in a social way to support their organization. And in that case, they're not really developing a new product. What they're doing is really telling these individual donors about the kind of impact and the work that they're already doing and encouraging them to give because of the relationships they have with people who are already part of their organization. So crowdfunding helps you build your network from some of the key donors and key staff that you already have involved in your organization, and you ask them to help share your story and share your impact with others, asking them to give as well. So what crowdfunding does in that case is really it's a network builder more so than it is just a fundraising tool.
Okay, tips and tricks in crowdfunding?
So in terms of crowdfunding, some of the best things to do are to use video. And what video does is it gives people a real image of what it is that they are going to be able to be part of, whether it's supporting an NGO and the kind of programming that it does, or it could even be something where it's a concept of a new project and trying to explain, well, what does life look like now without this product or without this project? And how can we envision ways that it could look better? So I just saw a crowdfunding campaign about fixing accessibility of streets for people in wheelchairs, and they had someone going around in their wheelchair showing where accessibility was a problem. And just being able to visualize what change needed to happen really helps people understand why their investment and their donation.
The most common mistakes in crowdfunding, can you tell us about them?
Absolutely. So there are probably more than I can come up with, but I think two of the main things with crowdfunding is, one, having an unrealistic goal. If you set a goal that's too high based on the population of people you already have access to or possibly information about other crowdfunding campaigns, you're going to have a challenge of really meeting that goal. And what that does is it sets an expectation that when it's not met, it's very difficult to then get people to reinvest in your ideas and in your business or in your NGO. So you want to make sure that your goals are set realistically. And the second is assuming that just the idea itself will launch and take your crowdfunding forward. You need to have set groups of people and networks that you're planning on pushing your crowdfunding through to build out your donor base. So not having a plan of where these people and where these donations are coming from will end up resulting in unsuccessful crowdfunding campaigns. So you need to have some type of network and groups and individuals that you're going to work through and ask to help share through their relationships with others. Without that, your crowdfunding campaign probably will not be successful.
Online platforms for crowdfunding, startup companies around the world use Kickstarter or Indiegogo, but the NGOs, what about them?
So I think NGOs actually use Indiegogo as well, and there are a couple of other sites. I know that there are even some specific here in Romania that are crowdfunding sites. The most important thing is to do your research on what is it that the site is providing, what kind of support does it have. One thing that we find very helpful for NGOs who are trying to use crowdfunding is to make sure that the site has the ability for individuals to create their own sub-sites and ask for donors just from their own personal site that's related to your campaign. What that does is it gives your donors a chance to break out into their own relationship networks and bring new people in to learn about your organization and potentially give money that you wouldn't be able to access otherwise. So looking at the functionality and also trying to understand how much it costs to use each platform. Certain platforms have different percentages that they take in terms of the amounts that are given. And the third thing is with NGO sites specifically, in some cases they will not give the money to the organization unless the full amount has been raised. Others will allow you to have a flexible amount. So it's really important to understand, especially if it's the first time you're doing a crowdfunding campaign, what is required to be able to actually close the campaign and receive the donations. Because if it's something new, you probably do not want to have one where you have to make the whole goal in order to receive the money. So those are all things to consider.
Today you spoke about the importance of storytelling and getting supporters and engagement. How would that be used by startup companies to convince business angels or crowdfunding backers to fund their projects and the products?
Right. So storytelling, what it can really do is either do a good job of explaining what the current challenge is, and then putting the product or the project as the solution to solving that challenge. So having someone through their own voice explain why their life is difficult right now and then how this product might help them is really a helpful way to explain the need for this new invention or this new project. Additionally, you can also tell the story from the people who are founding the company or the NGO project. They obviously have some kind of passion and reason for why they want to get involved, and sometimes that founder's story can be something that people want to invest in.
Thank you very much, Dr. Boyarski.
You're welcome. Thank you.